Big tech is terrified, not of regulation, not of each other. They're terrified because the moat they spent decades building is collapsing under their feet. For years, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, they owned the game. They had the data, they had the compute, they had the talent. Competition was impossible. That's over, and they know it. Hey, if we haven't met, I'm the digital avatar of Julia McCoy. Julia reads every comment, so share your thoughts below. What I'm about to share is the real story behind the panicked pivots, the emergency board meetings, and the desperate scramble to stay relevant. The power dynamics of tech are shifting faster than at any point in history. Let's get into it. Let me explain what made big tech unbeatable for so long. Google had decades of search data. Facebook had the social graph of humanity. Amazon knew what everyone bought. This data was irreplaceable. You couldn't compete without it. And you couldn't get it because they already had it. Everyone used Google because everyone used Google. Everyone was on Facebook because everyone was on Facebook. The more users a platform had, the more valuable it became, which attracted more users. Unbreakable cycle. Running services at global scale requires massive infrastructure. Data centers on every continent, billions in hardware, years to build. Startups couldn't match it. The best AI researchers, the best engineers, the best product people, they all worked at big tech. They got paid the most. They had the best resources. Why would they work anywhere else? For 20 years, these moats seemed permanent. The big got bigger. The gap widened. Competition was a joke. Then AI changed everything. Here's what's happening to each moat. It turns out you don't need proprietary data when you have the entire internet. AI models trained on public web data can match or exceed models trained on proprietary data. Google's search data, less relevant when AI can synthesize information from everywhere. Facebook's social graph, doesn't matter when AI can generate personalized content without it. The data advantage hasn't disappeared, but it's shrinking fast. Here's the crazy part. Network effects might actually be working against big tech now. Why? Because AI enables personalization at a level that makes networks unnecessary. If AI can give me perfectly tailored content, why do I need to see what my friends posted? If AI can answer my questions directly, why do I need to search through links? The network that made Facebook valuable, connections to other people, becomes less relevant when AI is a better companion than most people. Yes, training frontier AI models requires massive compute, but running them doesn't. The most capable models are available through APIs that any startup can access. And here's the kicker. The compute providers, Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, are competing so hard that prices keep falling. The infrastructure advantage is becoming a commodity. The great resignation in AI is real. Top researchers are leaving big tech to start companies, join startups, or work on independent research. Why? Because they can. You don't need Google's infrastructure to train competitive models anymore. Open source is catching up. Cloud compute is accessible. The leverage has shifted. Let me talk about what's really scaring big tech. Open source. There was a leaked memo from Google that went viral. It said, "We have no moat, neither does OpenAI." The argument was simple. Open source models are improving faster than closed models. The gap that took OpenAI years to build is being closed in months by open communities. Look at what's happened since that memo. Llama from Meta, released open source, has spawned an entire ecosystem, hundreds of fine-tuned variants, running locally on laptops, free. Mistral, a French startup, released models that compete with GPT 3.5. Open source, trained on a fraction of the budget. Claude, Gemini, GPT-4, they're still ahead, but the gap is closing fast. And here's the existential threat. What happens when open source models reach 90% of frontier capabilities? Suddenly, you don't need to pay OpenAI. You don't need to use Google's cloud. You can run equivalent intelligence on your own hardware for free. The entire business model of AI APIs, which everyone from Microsoft to Google to OpenAI is betting on, collapses. Now let's talk about the threat that big tech can't even publicly acknowledge. China. Chinese AI labs are not 10 years behind. They're not 5 years behind. On some benchmarks, they're essentially caught up. DeepSeek, a relatively new Chinese lab, released models that compete with top American systems, trained more efficiently, with less compute, under export restrictions designed to slow them down. Alibaba, Baidu, Tencent, all have competitive AI programs, all have access to massive compute, all have armies of talented researchers. And here's the thing about China. They don't care about API revenue. They don't need to build venture-backable businesses. They can subsidize AI development as a matter of national priority. What happens when a nation-state with effectively unlimited resources decides that AI dominance is strategic necessity? Big tech built their strategies around being the only game in town. They're not anymore, and they know it. So what are they doing about it? Every big tech company has declared AI their top priority. Not a priority, the priority. Everything else is being deprioritized. Google reorganized around AI. Microsoft bet the company on OpenAI. Meta released their models open source, trying to become the Linux of AI. Amazon is scrambling to catch up. This is not normal corporate repositioning. This is panic with a press release. Microsoft paid $10 billion for 49% of OpenAI. Google invested $2 billion in Anthropic. Amazon invested $4 billion in Anthropic. Everyone is trying to buy their way into relevance. Notice all the layoffs? Not a coincidence. Every dollar not going to AI is being reconsidered. Products that don't contribute to AI strategy are being killed. The pressure to ship AI features is distorting everything. Products are being released before they're ready. Safety testing is being compressed. Move fast and break things is back. Now with systems that can actually break things. Why should you care that big tech is scared? Because their fear creates opportunity. For the first time in decades, startups can compete with giants. The infrastructure advantages that protected big tech are eroding. A small team with the right ideas can build something competitive. The best people in AI are more accessible than ever. They're not all locked in big tech golden handcuffs. They're starting companies, advising startups, and joining scrappy teams. When giants are scared, they move fast and take risks. When everyone is racing, progress accelerates. The pace of AI advancement in the next few years will be unlike anything we've seen. The concentration of tech power that defined the last 2 decades is reversing. Open source, Chinese competition, startup innovation, it's all pulling power away from the center. This doesn't mean big tech will disappear, but their dominance isn't assured anymore. And that changes everything. We're living through a once-in-a-generation shift in tech power dynamics. The moats that seemed permanent are breaking. The giants that seemed unbeatable are scrambling. The future that seemed locked is suddenly up for grabs. This is terrifying if you're big tech, but it's exhilarating if you're anyone else. The opportunity to build, to create, to compete. It hasn't been this open in decades. Hit subscribe so I can keep sharing what's really happening behind the scenes. And tell me in the comments, do you think big tech will adapt or fall? The future belongs to those brave enough to be first movers. Let's make sure that's you. See you down the next rabbit hole.